Hey everybody, it is Kellen Nitro for Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. So last week I did a Nitro's Take kind of review and opinions on week 1 of the NWA United Wrestling Network weekly pay-per-view series, Primetime Live. And I felt that I needed to watch week 2. I said in my review that I wouldn't, but I did. So here is my take, Nitro's Take on NWA UWN Primetime Live, week number 2. This show emanated from the Thunder Studios in Los Angeles, California, and the show was September 22nd, 2020, and the main event match was a NWA World Women's title match between Thunderrosa and Priscilla Kelly. So here are my thoughts from week 2. So the show begins with Thunderrosa and Priscilla Kelly exchanging promos. We also hear from Slice Boogie and Karl Fredricks, which is the semi-main for this thing. And Eli Drake does the same. Kind of a Saturday night's main event feel. Just 100% less emotion and 100% more stock free play music. If that makes any sense to anybody. The show is not even 2 minutes in, and we have our first glitch that unfortunately hampers the show. A audio glitch gives me both the SAP and English commentary. Yes. Unfortunately, the English commentary for about the first 10 minutes of the pay-per-view was intermixed with SAP commentary from the Spanish language track, kind of broadcasted at the same time, and it made the show almost unwatchable unless you muted the audio. And I couldn't, because I was trying to make out little details that commentary was giving us for these new superstars that are debuting on the show and so on and so forth. And definitely wasn't very good. It wasn't a great opening to week 2 for sure. Opening contest, Danny Limelight versus Kevin Martinson. Martinson's music is pretty groovy. It's 1980s synthwave for the win, which I'm a fan of. I love the 1980s synthwave. Hard to watch the opener with the audio glitch. Already touched on that. But for some of my favorite moves in this thing, a very interesting sliding spear under the ring post by Martinson. Very Sami Zayn style. And Danny Limelight himself has a very interesting second rope walk into a flying knee. Again, some great innovative moves and ingenuity here by these guys. A lot of moves that are, these are kind of first-time moves that we've seen, so kudos to them for trying something different. Shortly after that, the SAP and English audio cuts out for a second, and it's fixed. It only took 10 minutes for them to figure out what was going on. Independent wrestling, everybody. A brutal brain buster by Martinson on the outside to Limelight on the ramp. Rolls him in, 1, 2, 3, and it would have been an enjoyable opener, but that audio glitch is unforgivable. I have down Be Better. Not a little harsh, but you can't do that. Come on, you're on worldwide pay-per-view. It needs to be tested before going to air. I'm sorry. Yeah, figure your stuff out before broadcast. That's it. It takes, honestly, working in a live production environment and doing live production things that I've done in the past and that stuff. Show up an hour earlier and test your equipment before broadcast. It's simple. It takes absolutely no time whatsoever to do that. None. Maybe 15 minutes out of your day. That's it. Two-person booth this week with Kenley and Mariano. Joe Galli is on assignment in San Antonio, Texas. We will see a feature from him later on in the pay-per-view. So it is just Kenley and Mariano, the two-person booth. So next week, it's already teased. The main event for next week's show is a NWA National Championship match. Aaron Stevens versus Trevor Murdoch. So yes, the undercard match that we were supposed to see at the Crockett Cup that never happened will be taking place, I guess this week or later tonight if you're watching this day of or whenever this will pop out. This is a great promo by Stevens here. Again, Aaron Stevens, I think the time off was great for a lot of the NWA guys and girls because it made them that much sharper on the promos and so on and so forth. And of course, with the new creative being handed towards them, maybe some fresh opportunities come into a lot of shall we say, established superstars. So, next contest, Watts takes on Eli Drake. This is one of the more heavily promoted matches from last week. Watts is just coming off of losing the UWN Heritage Championship to Ray Rosas. This is being advertised as an NWA versus UWN encounter. Watts gets a couple of near falls off of 2 huge sidewalk slams and an amazing diving tackle on the ramp by Drake on Watts. Watts hits the choke force, but only nets a 2 count off of that. Watts attempts to call his shot for the finish here, but Eli Drake reverses it into the gravy train, a 1-2 free. And this was a fun, rough, heavyweight match. The opener this week was, again, a very solid opener, and this was a great second match. This was, I wouldn't have put this, like I said, with my last review, I would have moved this up to last week and maybe moved a couple of the matches off of last week's card to this week, just if I was booking the thing. But this itself delivered, and this is a rivalry that longtime fans of that promotion of the United Wrestling Network would know, because both these guys were fighting over championships and that stuff at one time. There was a friendship and a rivalry there, and so on and so forth, and now a worldwide pay-per-view audience had a chance to see that. So Dave Marquez with Priscilla Kelly backstage says it hasn't been sunshine and rainbows this year. Well, not for anybody, and she will walk out the NWA champion at the end of the program. The NWA World Women's Champion. Tag team action up next here with the Real Money Brothers taking on the Friendship Farm. These again are 2 UWN staple tag teams here. Big Money Clutch and RMB Shug are the Real Money Brothers. And Sweet Robin Shaw and Gentleman Jervis Cottonbelly make up Friendship Farm. Go Chikara, yes, Jervis Cottonbelly, the guy that looks like Mr. Peanut, or did look like Mr. Peanut, with the cotton belly, a Chikara mainstay from about 10 years ago or so. Had him all over the tape trades back in the day that I used to do. Chikara was a very popular promotion during the DVD trades of the indie boom of the mid-2000s or so. And so I got my hands on a lot of Chikara stuff in my home archive, and that's through those means and that stuff going forward. And Cottonbelly got his start in Chikara and was involved in a lot of those Tag World Grand Prix and a lot of other stuff too that Chikara was doing at the time, a lot of their cards, and has floated around the Indies, and I think relocated to the West Coast, and now has become a mainstay in this Championship Wrestling from Blank movement, the United Wrestling Network thing, and of course with their alignment with UWN, you get to see him on the NWA. Jervis can go, yes. Shaw himself isn't that bad. The presentation's kind of very Adrian Adonis from your post WWF run, so yeah, a dude that's not necessarily appealing to look at, but definitely a babyface, definitely has the crowds would portray as a goofy babyface, I guess, going forward. Does he move the needle to be a single star here? No, I don't think so. Does he move the needle as a tag team though with Jervis Cottonbelly? Yes, I think that it's a good comedic tag team, good comedic mix. Their double team moves too are very crisp. They were very on sync with their double team maneuvers, and that's did a bunch of tandem suplexes and a suplex leg drop combination that was pretty cool to see, and a suplex drop kick combination that was also, again, really cool to see as well. Sweet Victory, which is Shaw's finisher, executed, but he couldn't go for the cover, but does get the tag out to Cottonbelly there. That's kind of felt a little disjointed during that. RMBs, though, hit their finish. The signing bonus, which is a tandem boss man slam. on, I believe it was Cotton Belly for a 1-2-3, and the Real Money Brothers get the W. Backstage, it is Dirty Daddy Chris Dickinson, one of the big revelations from week 1, cuts another outstanding promo. Guy cuts a great promo if he can handle S-bombs. He doesn't like what he's seen, and he challenges Jervis Cottonbelly for a future episode, so that will be probably something in the coming weeks that we will see on the NWA UWN shows, is Chris Dickinson versus Jervis Cottonbelly. Slice Boogie versus Karl Fredricks. You've heard of the Darewolf, which is PJ Black. Well, Karl Fredricks is the Alpha Wolf, repping the tassels, and we get to see his post New Japan Young the Lion look, and it looks great. An amazing chain wrestling sequence between the two to open. A Uranagi slam by Boogie only nets a 2 count, and Fredericks hits the Shibata corner drop kick, paying homage to his trainer, and only nets a 2 count. Boogie hits the 21st Street Special, which is a top rope cutter, and only nets 2. But for the finish, we get to the finish of the match. Fredericks hits his version of the Impaler, and he calls it the Manifest Destiny, and the Alpha Wolf scores an impressive win. Great match. Karl Fredericks, once the indies open up in the United States and Canada once again, will be in demand. The guy has a independent wrestling look. Before he gets the exclusivity to New Japan that they do with all of their mid and top stars, promotions should look at booking this guy and giving him some ring time over here, because let me tell you, once New Japan really sinks their claws into this guy, he's going to be a guy that will be moving up the cards fairly quickly. And I think that my partner Morehouse during our year-end special was saying, hey, watch this guy, and he was right. This guy's good. This guy will be one of the guys that you'll see on many Wrestle Kingdoms for years to come, or maybe even with another promotion down the line. But you're gonna hear the name Karl Fredericks around for a while. Joe Galli hanging out in Austin, Texas with Thunderrosa at an indie show. Fans there think Rosa will retain, and we see highlights of a NWA title defense that she had against Lindsay Snow, the American Kaiju, for a independent promotion in, I think, in Austin, Texas, I should say, over the weekend. And that leads right to the main event, which is the NWA World Women's title, Priscilla Kelly versus Thunderrosa. Will Rosa's schedule catch up with her here? Third title defense in 6 days for Rosa at that point, yes. And then on top of that, she jumped on a plane post this match and was in Jacksonville for Dynamite the next night because she was involved in a tag team match last week. So super amateur to start, a lot of fun to watch. Some MMA as well from both, yes. Lots of back and forth work in the ring and on the outside. Easily the best match of the past 2 weeks for sure. This was so even for throughout. Too many near falls and submission attempts to count. A DVD on the outside by Rosa to Priscilla Kelly on the outside of the ramp. But later on in the match, Kelly hits her finisher, the crippling depression, only lands a 2 count. Rosa, though, finally hits her finish, the Thunder Driver, for the 1-2-3 after a long battle. Probably timed out about 20-25 minutes or so. Very sensational match. Both women put over big time. If Priscilla Kelly is hooked up with the NWA, that's huge. That's a great acquisition for them. And I think that she's, as was mentioned in commentary, a lot of the outlandish, over-the-top stuff, she's kind of set aside, and she's kind of proving that, hey, she can go as a pro wrestler. And she's also, if she can do that, she's also really easy to look at as well in the ring. It's one of those things where the sky's the limit for her. She's if she can shake off the stunts, the tampon stunt, whatever, from last year, sky's the limit. And I think that she would definitely be on track for a major indie push somewhere, even here, NWA, UWN, so on and so forth. Rosa, this is a year for her for 2020, man. She has made this her year one of the few that have done so and have been able to do so. She's going to be a household name by the end of the year because just the exposure she's got. Like, man, just unreal. This is great. So, and again, another great match. So next week, Allison Kay is in action, which will be, I guess, later this week, later on tonight, maybe, if you're watching this on Tuesday the 29th. By the way, happy birthday to a certain somebody here who hosts this channel on the 29th. This guy. You can appease me by getting your friends to subscribe to the channel. How about that? Like that. National championships on the line and more. Much better week in week 2 I fought than week 1. Yes, I will give this show a 7.9 out of 10 for week 2. Again, Priscilla Kelly and Thunderrosa, that was a match a lot of people were talking about, and it's a worthwhile watch. Definitely get a chance to check that out. Karl Fredricks and Slice Boogie was awesome as well. And yeah, it was great. The opener too with Limelight and Martinson, awesome. Drakes and Watts was great. And you know, the young tag teams who showcased here too, Big Money Clutch and the Friendship Farm, I think were good. They were definitely better than the teams that were presented last week in week 1. So you know, I think the quality just keeps going up and up for that. So later days, happy wrestling watching, folks. I'm Kellen Nitro. I hope you enjoyed. This was my redo of the NWA UWN Primetime Live Nitro's takes. Figured I should give them another shot for week 2. I was curious just to see if week 2 was better than week 1. Will I order week 3? Again, up in the air. I usually make that decision day of show if I'll have time during the week to watch it or not, really. I gotta look and see it. I don't think this week I'll have a chance to watch it at all, unfortunately. But, you know, you never know for sure. And the price is a little steep up here going through the cable operator. So maybe I'll look at that Fight TV package because it seems like it's an all-in type $23 type deal. Equates out to 30 up here. I don't know. We'll see. But anyways, later days. Happy wrestling watching. We'll see you next time on Nitro Maniac TV's Wrestling Unlimited. Take care, folks.